Soviet athletes and cosmonauts used a relaxation technique that most people in the West have never heard of. It wasn't meditation. It wasn't breathing exercises. It was a structured system with 6 specific steps that you could learn in weeks, not years. And Soviet sports scientists used it so widely that by the 1970s, it was part of the standard training across major sports programs in the country. I'm going to show you exactly how it works and how to start using it tonight. Plus, I'm going to give you one specific addition the Soviets made to the original method that turned it from a simple relaxation tool into something much more interesting. Here's the thing, most people who try meditation quit. And the reason they quit is not because meditation doesn't work. It does. The problem is that traditional meditation gives you almost nothing to hold on to. You sit down, you close your eyes, and the instruction is basically, don't think, or observe your thoughts. And for most people, what actually happens is you sit there, your brain goes everywhere, you spend 8 minutes fighting yourself, and you open your eyes feeling more frustrated than when you started. Soviet coaches saw this exact problem. They needed their athletes to recover fast, stay calm under pressure, and sleep well before competition. They couldn't afford a method that takes months or years to get good at, so they took a different approach. They found a system that gives your brain specific instructions at every step. Not empty your mind, but feel heaviness in your right arm. And for many people, that one difference makes the technique easier to stick with and faster to learn. The big question is, what exactly is this technique? Why does giving your brain physical instructions work differently than abstract observation? And how can you use it tonight without any training or experience? The technique is called Autogenic Training. It was originally developed in the 1920s and first published in 1932 by a German psychiatrist named Johannes Schultz. He had been working with a researcher named Oscar Vogt, who studied hypnosis, and they noticed something consistent. When people went into a hypnotic state, they reported 2 specific sensations, heaviness in their limbs and warmth spreading through their body. Schultz asked a simple question. What if you could reverse the process? What if instead of being hypnotized and then feeling those sensations, you deliberately created those sensations first and your body would relax on its own? Think about it like this. When you're stressed, your body does a whole series of things automatically. Your heart rate goes up, your muscles tense, your breathing gets shallow. That's your sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response. What Schultz figured out is that you can run that process in reverse by giving your body the opposite signals. When you deliberately create sensations of heaviness and warmth, your parasympathetic nervous system kicks in. That's the rest and digest system. Your heart rate drops, your muscles release, your breathing slows. And it happens not because you're trying to relax, but because you gave your body a specific physical signal to relax. Now, here's where the Soviets come in. Schultz published his method in Germany, but it was Soviet sports scientists who took it and built it into something much bigger. By the 1960s and 70s, autogenic training was widely used across Soviet athletics. A 1977 New York Times article reported that the Soviets were using autogenic training and other psychological methods across their sports programs, while the West had barely started paying attention. Arkady Filatov, a psychotherapist who headed the School of Psychotherapy at the Ukrainian Institute for the Advanced Training of Physicians, took Schultz's original 6 exercises and built them into a larger system called Emotional Volitional Training. He developed it first with cycling teams, then it spread to nearly every sport. Here's what that means for you. The original technique has 6 steps, and each one targets a different system in your body. You don't need to learn all 6 tonight. You start with 1, and you build from there. Soviet coaches introduced one new step every 1 to 2 weeks, and that's exactly what I want you to do. Here's exactly what you're going to do tonight. Find a quiet place. Sit in a comfortable chair or lie down on your back. Close your eyes. Now, silently repeat this phrase to yourself. My right arm is heavy. Say it slowly in your mind. My right arm is heavy. And as you say it, actually focus on your right arm. Don't force anything. Don't try to make it heavy. Just direct your attention there and repeat the phrase. My right arm is heavy. Do this for about 60 seconds, then switch. My left arm is heavy. Another 60 seconds. Then both arms. Both my arms are heavy. 60 seconds. Then do the same for your legs. My right leg is heavy. My left leg is heavy. Both my legs are heavy. 60 seconds each. The whole thing takes about 5 to 6 minutes. I know what you're thinking right now. Saying my arm is heavy to myself is going to relax me? That's you. That's what you sound like. But here's what the research shows. A study published in the Journal of Psychosomatic Research tested autogenic training on high-stress workers and measured their cardiac autonomic nervous activity before and after. The result was clear. Autogenic training significantly decreased sympathetic nervous activity and significantly increased parasympathetic nervous activity. Your body actually responds to the suggestion. Not because it's magic, because directed attention changes physiological signals. The heaviness you feel is real. It comes from your muscles releasing tension. For you, this means you have a clear, repeatable routine. No guessing, no wondering if you're doing it right. You say the phrase, you focus on the body part, you move to the next one. That's week 1, just heaviness. Every night before sleep, 5 to 6 minutes, that's it. Here's where it gets really interesting. After you've done the heaviness exercise for a week or two, and you can actually feel that sensation reliably, you add the second step, warmth. Same structure. My right arm is warm, my left arm is warm, both my arms are warm. Same for the legs. You combine it with the heaviness, so now your session is about 8 to 10 minutes. Heaviness first, then warmth. And this isn't just imagination either. A thermography study measured skin temperature during autogenic warmth exercises and found significant increases in both beginners and trained subjects. When you suggest warmth, your peripheral blood vessels actually dilate slightly. Blood flow increases to the area. Your skin temperature rises in a way you can measure with a thermometer. Now, the full classical method has 6 steps total. Heaviness, warmth, heart regulation, where you say my heartbeat is calm and regular. Breathing, where you say my breathing is calm and easy. Abdominal warmth, where you say my stomach is warm. And forehead cooling, where you say my forehead is pleasantly cool. But you don't need to rush through all 6. The Soviets typically spent 1 to 2 weeks on each new step. A full course ran 8 to 10 weeks. The key is the gradual buildup. Each new step adds another layer of control over your nervous system. I know this is a lot to take in. If you need to, re-watch the last section and write down the phrases. Having them next to your bed matters more than memorizing them. But this was only half of the picture, because what Filatov and the Soviet coaches did with autogenic training went beyond relaxation. And this is the part that I find most interesting. Filatov added a second layer to the method. After athletes reached a state of deep relaxation using the standard exercises, he introduced what he called suggestion formulas. These were short, specific statements that athletes repeated to themselves while deeply relaxed. Not generic affirmations, specific, targeted phrases. Filatov's own recommendation for building confidence was the phrase, "I can be unwaveringly self-confident." And the psychotherapists working with athletes would reinforce this by saying, as recorded in Filatov's published work, self-confidence is not a characteristic people are born with. They work on it and develop it. A sprinter might repeat, "I am focused and explosive at the start." A parachutist might repeat, "I am calm and precise during freefall." Filatov's reasoning was simple. When your nervous system is in a deeply relaxed state, your brain is more receptive to directed thought. It's like writing on a clean whiteboard instead of trying to write over old scribbles. In 1983, a researcher named Bondarchuk tested this combined method with the Soviet national parachuting team at 3 special training camps. The athletes learned these self-regulation techniques alongside their standard physical training. The results are documented in the State Archive of the Russian Federation. Athletes who used the method went on to win at the Soviet Spartakiad competition and earned medals at international events, including a world championship. Here's what that means for you. Once you've practiced the heaviness exercise for about a week or two, and you can reliably feel that sensation, add 1 personal suggestion formula at the end. Keep it short, keep it specific. Not, "I am confident," because that's too vague. Something like, "I speak clearly and calmly in meetings," or "I focus easily when I sit down to work." Say it 3 times, slowly, while you're still in that relaxed state. That's it. I know what you're thinking. This sounds like affirmations, and affirmations don't work. Here's the difference. When you say an affirmation while you're stressed and alert, your brain fights it. You say, "I am confident," and your brain immediately goes, "No, you're not." But when you say it after 6 minutes of autogenic relaxation, your sympathetic nervous system is quiet. Your analytical, critical mind is less active. The phrase meets less resistance. It sounds almost too simple to work, but Filatov tested this with elite athletes for years, and the documented results speak for themselves. So your plan for the next 4 weeks looks like this. Week 1, heaviness only, 5 to 6 minutes before sleep. Week 2, add warmth, 8 to 10 minutes total. Week 3, add calm heartbeat and easy breathing, about 12 minutes. Week 4, add your personal suggestion formula at the end. By the end of week 4, you'll have a structured relaxation practice that gives you something specific to do at every single step. No sitting in silence wondering if you're doing it right. No fighting your own thoughts. Just a clear sequence that your brain and body can follow. Now, I want to be clear about something. I am not saying this is better than meditation. Meditation has decades of strong research behind it, and it works for a lot of people. What I am saying is that for some people, especially people who've tried meditation and couldn't stick with it, autogenic training can be a more effective starting point because it's concrete and step by step. You always know exactly what to do next. And a meta-analysis by Stetter and Kupper that found 73 controlled outcome studies and analyzed 60 of them showed significant positive effects of autogenic training on tension headaches, anxiety, mild to moderate depression, and sleep problems. The evidence is solid. It's just not as well known outside of Europe as meditation is. There's one more thing that can make or break this: timing. Don't do this when you're alert and wired from coffee. The best window is right before sleep, when your body is already naturally winding down. And don't skip nights. The repetition is the point. Just like any skill, the neural pathway gets stronger every time you use it. After 2 weeks of nightly practice, the heaviness response will come faster. After 4 weeks, you'll be able to drop into a relaxed state within the first minute or two. That's when you know the system is working. Try the heaviness exercise tonight. Just the arms and legs, 6 minutes, and tell me in the comments tomorrow morning how you slept. I read them. The Soviets also had a method for controlling your emotions so you never choke when it matters most. Soviet athletes used it before every major competition. I broke that down in another video that you can find on my channel. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.